Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Alvarez and this is Alvarez Metalworks. So today what we're doing is talking about the Tacoma company's upgrade kit for the Harbor Freight blast cabinet. Okay, this kit is something I've installed on my own cabinet here at my shop. If you guys look back through my videos, you'll see, there's a whole slew of them. I'll put a link down in the description where you can find the playlist on that. But I also decided that I was going to be building a second blast cabinet for my day job. I work at a marina during the day. They had seen my blast cabinet and they, heard my recommendations about how well it worked and everything and decided that they wanted one. So, we waited for the Harbor Freight cabinet to go on sale for $145 and they purchased one. I got a hold of Mike over at Tacoma Company and told him I needed another kit. They purchased that and we installed it. And there's a number of different changes to it. So this video here is just showing you guys the changes that are made to their kit. This is the Pro kit. It's got a number 5 tip in the gun, which is amazing. We'll talk about all that stuff in greater detail in the video. But bear with me. I piece this together because I'm being paid by the hour at my day job. So the content's going to be paused. There's going to be some still images of me doing voiceovers. So with that being said, let's get going on this and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so the part I have here, I pulled out of the scrap bin. I believe it's an engine mount or something. It's been primed and painted. It's been laying around for a long time. I'm using a number 36 garnet. It's working fantastic outside of one simple issue. The blast media that's in the cabinet is used. I was using it on a transom mount, which is for an outdrive engine, and it had a bunch of silicone and other debris on it that is now mixed in with the blast media, and the gun's having a little bit of issues with clogging up. But outside of that, you see how quickly it removes this. Did a really good job. Here's the overall cabinet. Up top, we got the new lighting kit. Again, that video is going to be in the description. We have our air intake regulator. It's basically just like a barbecue grill. You just twist it and it regulates the air going into the cabinet. Here's our new pedal. This is completely made in-house. And right here it replaces the trapdoor at the bottom of the cabinet. It's basically a funnel. It's a real smooth entryway into the mixing valve down here at the bottom. You open and close this to regulate the media flow, and you have your drain at the bottom. That's a new item. It's not a new item, redesigned item. Inside we have the gun. This is the brand new gun, completely made in-house. There's no handle on it like the other one, like a gun style. This is something that you can grab more like you're holding a pencil or grab it by the hose. Be able to feed it inside orifices and be able to clean out areas that you wouldn't be able to do with the previous gun. It also helps the media flow angle. You see that it's at an angle versus pretty much straight up the handle of a gun. Works out really, really well. I'm really impressed. I wasn't sure I was going to like that over the pistol style, but I do. Now what I'm showing you here is the cuff kit, as they call it. And what that does is it gets rid of the ledge between the cabinet and the hopper. I'll show you guys in a little bit later how to install that. So here's our cuff kit. It's basically just 4 pieces of sheet metal that have been cut and formed to eliminate the gap between the hopper and the actual blast cabinet. The body part of the cabinet. Right here you can see the ledge. This ledge, if you don't install the cuff kit, it collects media there. It makes it difficult for you to clean out the cabinet, swap media. When you have the cuff kit installed, it flows down to the bottom a lot better. Now, if you look here, this bolt, it's the top bolt of the leg. There's 2 on each leg that has to be removed. You're going to do that on the front and back to start with, and then you'll install the front and back panels, and then you'll drill out the holes for the remaining part of the cuff kit, and you'll install the supplied bolts that come with the cuff kit for those. You can see there that I was just pointing at the other 2 bolts for the side panels. You'll do those after you install the front and back. Now, my panels were labeled, and this is something I want to quickly touch on. There is a little bit of difference between the panels, but there's a difference between these blast cabinets and the different and the different styles that have come out over the years. And so you may have to do a little bit of modification and trimming to make all these pieces fit properly. Now, what we have here is the front and back panels installed with the exception of the center bolts. Now, what I also have the door panel installed here. You'll see right there. Right there where I'm touching, you may have to do a little bit of trimming to get that to sit in there just right. It's very important that the cuff kit, the panel, the sheet metals, sit flat on top of the hopper. You'll need to make sure your hopper is centered though, because you see how that's notched right there? If your hopper is not centered, those sheet metal panels won't fit in there correctly. So again, let me show you this. That bolt right there, you're going to need to take it out and you're going to need to flip it so that the head is on the inside of the cabinet and the nut is on the outside. If you don't do that, it's going to push the corners of the sheet metal panel away and it won't let it sit properly on the hopper. Now, the last thing that you're going to need to know is that you're going to want to seal this. You're going to want to seal it all the way across the top and all the way across the bottoms and down the edges, because you don't want blast media to accumulate behind it. Okay? But with that being said, that's how you install that. So now on to the door kit. What we have here is two pieces of sheet metal that are pop riveted into place. You have the top piece and the bottom piece. The bottom piece actually sits underneath the top piece so that all the media flows down well. You'll see on the side here where I'm pointing, you're going to need to put some, I use Sikaflex, but I'm going to recommend that you don't use that. The Sikaflex is holding up well on the door, but it's not holding up well anywhere else. I'll tell you a little bit later in the video what to use to seal that up. You're going to seal it up along the bottom as well. And basically what this does is when you close the door, you have that lip that sticks out and helps to prevent media from hanging up on the lip on the cabinet and spilling out all over the ground. Now, it's still going to happen to a certain degree, but it definitely does help quite a bit. It also covers up the holes in the door that are part of the injection molding process, and so that you don't have any media sitting inside of those holes. Right here we got a dust deputy. We'll be talking about that in a future video. So that's basically it. You guys see that the upgrades, the changes that they've made, not necessarily upgrades, the changes that they made. What I'm showing you right now is something I'm going to follow up on in a future video. This part has already been sandblasted with 36 grit garnet. I changed out the media, and this is why the cuff kit and the little funnel at the bottom of the hopper is really important. You can change out the media super fast on this. And this piece right here, you see how it's getting shiny? It's shining up because I'm shooting it with a glass bead, a true glass bead. And what a glass bead does is it peens the metal, okay, and it finishes it off. It actually, to a certain degree, polishes it. And I'm going to show you some still images in just a few that will show you a brass piece that I did. It was shot with 36 grit garnet and followed up with the glass bead and then polished out with a buffer there at my work. But when you're dealing with a cast finish like this, the glass bead actually works really, really well to bring to life the cast finish. Like let's say you were restoring an old intake manifold or something that you wanted to leave raw aluminum. The glass bead is going to protect it, it's going to peen it, it's going to shine it up, make it look like a fully restored brand new part. So you see here it actually works really fast, really well. I'm actually using a number 4 tip in this video. I talked about putting a number 5 tip in the gun. I had a number 4 tip in it to begin with. So it's working a little bit slower than the number 5 would. The number 5 is going to throw out a lot more blast media. But it does a great job. When you're doing this on, like, let's say brass, and that's what, the next still images that I'm going to show you are, you'll see a really, really dramatic difference between the blasted with the garnet and the blasted after the glass bead. So anyway, let me show you those images real quickly and we'll move on. Okay, so what we have here, this is a brass light housing that goes up on a mast. It's a nav light on a yacht or a boat. You can see here it's pretty oxidized. There's no paint on it or anything like that. It's just all oxidation. So what we're going to do here is first hit it with a garnet. You could probably get away with using a much finer grit than I did, but I used a number 36 garnet. And then here in this next picture, what we have is the after picture. This is what it looked like after it was blasted with the garnet. And then we're going to move on from there and use a glass bead. And now this picture here is the polished look that a true glass bead leaves. And what it does, like I said earlier, is it peens the finish. What I mean by peening is, like, for instance, if you're doing sheet metal work and you're doing it the old school way and you're using hammers and whatnot, the finer you hit it and peen it out, you'll get rid of any imperfections. You'll kind of start polishing up the surface, and then you'll get to a point where you can actually go to the next step, which is to polish it. And now in this picture here, this is after I've taken the peen surface and ran it through the buffer. Okay, we have a buffer at work, a polisher, if you will. Obviously, that doesn't come with the the blast cabinet kit, but this is just to show you how good and how simple it is to, how good this works and how simple it is to restore a part. Now, this whole process for this particular piece, I kind of rushed through it, but it took me about an hour. Now, that hour consisted of changing out the blast media too. If I didn't have the cuff kit in this cabinet and I didn't have, the funnel at the bottom and just this upgrade kit in general, it would have took me a lot longer to change out the blast media. And the reason being is I would have had to clean it out thoroughly. You have to clean out all the old blast media from all the nooks and crannies, so that this way when you put in your glass bead, you don't have any issues with contamination and having a coarser media mixed in with it. So now in this next photograph, what we're looking at is, this is a mounting plate for a bow thruster. Now, this bow thruster has got years and years worth of bottom paint and barnacles and corrosion. It's a brass piece. I've done nothing to this except for put it in the blast cabinet and start hitting it with the 36 garnet. So this is the before picture. This is the after picture. Not the garnet after picture, but the after the garnet and the glass bead. So you can see there's a pretty significant difference. Now, I didn't put a ton of effort into this just because it is going to get painted again, but I wanted to show you guys, and I wanted to show my bosses as well, how good we can improve these brass parts with this kit. This last thing that I'm showing you here, this is actually an impeller pump housing. This was covered in engine paint and, again, corrosion, a couple different layers of engine paint and primer, and, rust. This first picture is I don't have a before picture of it, but this first picture is after the 36 garnet blasting, and now this last picture is of the glass bead, the peening. Now you can see a little bit of a dark spot towards the bottom. That's just because of my dirty hands were on it. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, subscribe, comment, like, and go check me out on Facebook. The link's down in the description. And be sure to give Mike over at the Tacoma Company a call. The number's going to be following up this last little bit of me flapping my lips, and it's also going to be down in the video description as well. Give him a call. Let him know you saw the videos. Let him know what you're looking for, and he will be more than willing to guide you in the right direction. One last thing. I just want to touch on this. I touched on it in the previous video. The 10% discount at Rourke Supply with using coupon code METAL is not associated with the Tacoma Company. They're two completely separate companies. That 10% is, towards my channel sponsor, which is Rourke Supply. And that's my thank you to you for supporting my channel. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.